Okay, we're back. I promised you something completely different. Or I didn't actually. I'm surprising you. This is a photo that came from one of our students, Charlotte. Dog is barking. We don't know why. Her question was, how would you paint something like this in watercolor? This is a famous rock ledge made famous by Georgia O'Keeffe. And we're gonna try and do it in watercolor. Now, I've zoomed into the picture, into the watercolor, so that you can see me paint, and I will post a picture of the photo. So unfortunately, you can't see the photo at the same time as I'm painting, because I want you to be able to see the brush strokes up close and personal, right? So we've got a really beautiful blue sky, and the mountains are all kinds of crazy, gorgeous blends of browns and pinks, and we need to work on those kind of separately. So since we have been painting skies, why don't we do this first? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come up. Now, usually when I paint a sky, I tell you not to worry about, you know, if there are mountains in front, that the sky is lighter. I mean, the sky is lighter, and so the mountains will show up, and you can paint right over them. But this time around, the mountains are in many places lighter than the sky, so we are going to paint right up to the edge of those cliffs and put the sky in around it. Okay, so I have wet my sky. The rest of my paper is dry, and now we're gonna drop in some color. And you know what, let's go back. We're gonna use that flat brush. I'm gonna grab some cerulean in my paintbrush here. Let's go grab a little bit more. I've got a big flat brush, whatever flat you've got. Yeah, I don't have enough paint. I gotta get enough paint to make it worthwhile here. There, it's a little bit better. And I think I want to put something else in too. Here's a little bit of ultramarine. Oh, there's some. That's very right. A little bit of phthalo blue, it's called. Now I can actually lift this up, and the color will move down. I don't have to do too much with it. Let's grab just a little bit of ultramarine too. Let's put some of that in. Hopefully this is not too angled so that you can't see it. All right, we're going to drop the ultramarine in sort of at the wet edge down there. And we want it to just go to where the water has been placed on the paper. Okay, so what this is going to do is give us a beautiful blue sky, and we'll have plenty of white paper to do those light, beautiful mountains. Okay, so what I am doing is picking this up and moving it in various angles so that I have all the water moving around on the sky. Actually, I think, let's see, we're gonna, anytime you've missed a little bit, you can just wet it. Drop a tiny bit of paint in there. Kind of get that to move around too. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more. Actually, that's too much water right there. Go back down. Sorry for moving this so much. Okay. So that is step number 1. All right, we just do an amazing sky. It's very wet. We got a lot of ultramarine in here, which is going to make it very nice and granular looking. And you know, I don't think I'm going to do any clouds. I'm just going to leave it this color. I like it. So we're going to have to let that dry before we do anything else. Okay, so that number 1. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna wait. Okay, gotta have the sky all dry. And you know, the other thing you can do is, while this is drying, keep picking it up and moving it back and forth so that the water doesn't pool in one specific area, and that you get a nice kind of even gradation of color all the way around, right? You see my paint did not reach that one little edge right there. There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna watch this. We're gonna make sure that it dries nicely. Don't want any blooms or anything, so I'm not adding any more color. Something you can do is actually prop it up. You know, really only needs to be an inch or two, or you could prop it up quite a bit higher. And that will allow the water to kind of move down, make sure, you know, and keep the water and the paint keep the water and the paint from ending up in a gully, right, in the middle of your paper. There we go. So I'm going to pick this up, I'm going to turn it and do it the other way also. And the key to this is to actually sit here and watch it while it's drying, okay? So it's actually quite meditative to sit and watch the paint dry. And we've got, let's face it, we've all got nothing better to do than sit here and watch the paint dry, okay? So enjoy, have a fun time watching that paint dry. Okay, we're back. We are working on this view of some Georgia O'Keeffe Mountains here, and we've got the sky has dried now. You can see it's nice and flat, and the ultramarine made some nice texture there. We like that. And so now we're going to start doing some layers of this nice kind of yellowy, pinky, burnt sienna rock here. And we're definitely going to be using a flat brush because the rock is in such striations here. I thought it might be nice to try and work this a little, maybe wet in stages here. We'll see what we can, we'll do a few different layers, I'm sure. I'm going to be using my flat, this is a 3/4 inch flat brush, and I am going to just start layering some color here, whatever I see. Grab a little ochre. I've got some kind of different colors of ochre. I actually just was given a new palette of handmade colors from Terry, and we're gonna give those a try too. We're gonna sort of add some of those into this. Let me see. That is, here's a little bit of rose madder. It's called it. You know, we're gonna use whatever you've got. There's no. I almost don't even want to tell you what colors because it doesn't matter. It's whatever you have and that you can mix or try to match the colors that are on here. Okay. So I'm putting down some layers of colors, and we'll overlap this with other color as we go here. But I thought this is a really nice image, and the color is not something you see around here very often, so I thought it would be a nice change from all the stuff that we've been doing. Let's give a couple of these, let's see, we're thinking out loud, we're thinking as we go here. These colors I don't mind if things sort of blend together a little bit. I think that's okay. Adding a little to my pink here. do is create some blocks of color that will then dry, and we can add more color to them as we go. A red ochre, and gee, that ought to do it, huh? That's pretty amazing. All right, now some of this, I'm gonna actually let it go. We can do a little bit of dry brush stuff too. So we are just experimenting, right? I have not tried this painting at all. This picture, we're just winging it, right? As usual. No clue how it's gonna come out. Well, we hope. I hope it comes out, otherwise you won't be seeing this video. So there. Okay. But I like doing things that I have never done before to show you, so that you you know kind of how I would attempt something. And I like it to be spontaneous, and I like it to I like that you get the opportunity of seeing how I would sort of put something together or paint something, how I would address the issues, and then you can go ahead and paint it however you would like, right? So let's see if we go a couple more. Get a little bit dark red in there, and I think a little like alizarin crimson, or oh gosh, we happen to just have this perfect color called Rose of Ultramarine, which is a rather amazing color. Daniel Smith color. It kind of is a little bit of red and blue all together. Anyway, I'm going to try and make a few little hills here. You know, I can leave this loose, right? We're working wet. We do not have to try and show every rock strata here in this picture. We can simplify things. We can work wet so that you don't have to worry so much about what the picture looks like. You know, we're going for a impression of the photo, right? It's not like we are doing photorealism here. We're gonna paint this as if we were on site here, right? That's what I like to do. Paint it as if you were actually here. And you know, say you've got about an hour until your friends come back and get you, right? They'll put up with you painting for about an hour or so, and then they're going to want to move on. So you have to paint very quickly when you're on vacation with a group of people, right? Something that, you know, we may eventually get to do again at some point in time. Who knows? All right, I am adding a little bit more of this red back here. You know what? It's a little too red. It needs a little more blue in it. All right, let's add this again. So you can see I can use my flat brush here. I can use the wide side of it, or I can use the thin side if I'm going to try and show some little lines. And what I'm going to do is go right up to the the sky. The sky is dry at the moment. Add a little dark here. Let's go back and get a little more of that pinky purple. All right, it's still very wet. You can see everything is blending and moving around. This is a little too dark right here, so I'm going to take some of it out. Try to not have a bloom. Okay, I think I want to get a little bit more nice yellow in there. More yellow ochre. Too dark. So add more water to your brush and kind of move it around a bit. Okay. Very interesting. Some of these mountains look like pyramids. It's very fascinating. Okay, I'm going to kind of a light, sort of yellowy mountain back here. can see I'm actually doing this, I've got a very rough paper. Kind of, maybe this is the arch is rough, 140 pounds. So I'm going to leave a little bit of the weight, the texture of the paper on here. All right. Oh, this is okay. Let's get a smaller brush out. This is my 1/4 inch long flat. All right. So I'm going to try and show that there's a little bit of rock in the front. Some interesting striations. This is Rose Madder. And next to it is, oh, Shadow Violet. We'll get some Shadow Violet here. Okay. Let's give that a shot. That Shadow Violet might be perfect. Okay. So you can mix your alizarin crimson with some Payne's Gray, and you'll kind of get this color. Or if you have a color called Shadow Violet, it's kind of perfect to use for this. Okay. Right. So, a little bit more here. Trying to define some of the shadowy parts of the rock. Maybe there, it actually looks like there may be some clouds hitting the mountains. Although there's no clouds in this sky, so wonder where they came from. Okay, let me get this a little bit darker in spots so we can see. I think it is shadows actually on top of some of the ridges here. Yeah. Okay. So we've got sometimes a kind of a dry brush. You can pull it along, and actually it sometimes makes a little bit of a texture. Okay, I still want a few little pinky straight lines going across. Okay, now she's going back to the yellow because I feel like we're missing some. Okay, add some of that in. A little more yellow up at the top too. And paint it sort of around this, the shadow, kind of in between some of those colors. Burnt cyan, too dark. Gosh, it's a really amazing color. All right, we'll take a little of that off. Block that a little bit. Okay, let's go and get a little bit more of this showing up. Alright, so I think that's step 2. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to let it dry, and I think maybe we will come back in and add a little bit more color there. One more layer. Okay, but I need to stop. It's too wet. Everything's kind of blooming, and if I want, you know, a little more definition here, if I want to try and pull this outcropping of rock, you know, away from the background, I'm going to need it to be a little bit drier. Okay, but it's a good start. Okay.